Hey guys, it's Cassera, and today I'm going to be doing my September book haul. I am so excited for this book haul. I literally just finished my book buying ban challenge so I could buy some books. So like literally the night that I finished it, I finished The Art of War, I went onto Book Outlet and like made an order, and I just got it today. I'm so excited. But I did also order a few things from Amazon that I've been like wanting to get really badly, as well as Books A Million. Books A Million has a really great bargain discount section, and since I have a discount card with them, if I buy $25 more in books, I get $5 off. So I got 5 books for $20, which is fantastic, and I'm so excited for it. So I'm gonna start with the books that I got from Amazon. So the first books that I got were the Witcher series by Andrej Sapkowski. I got the first 3 like novels in the series. I'm so excited for this, you have no idea. Let me take it out of the box. So the first 3 novels are Blood of Elves, Time of Contempt, and Baptism of Fire. I am so excited for this. So I read the first 2 like series of short stories already, which are The Last Wish and Sword of Destiny, and I'm planning on getting to Blood of Elves in October, and I'm so excited because this series has been so good so far, and it's only the short stories, so I cannot wait to get to the novels. So I really enjoy the main character Geralt and like his adventures, and I love the writing in this series, so I'm really excited to continue on with it. I'm hoping I can get to all of these this year. I don't know if I will, but I'm really hoping to get to all of these this year. There's 3 months left and 3 books, so I probably can. There are more books in this series. I just didn't buy them yet just because I know I'm not gonna get to them this year, but I'm super excited for this series overall. The next 2 books I ended up getting were Best Served Cold and Red Country by Joe Abercrombie. These are 2 of the books in the First Law world. I already own The Heroes, which is the book that was published between these 2. I'm so excited for this series. Also, I ended up not reading the series earlier in the year because I didn't have the physical books, and I was on my book buy ban, so I couldn't buy them, but now I have the physical books, so like no excuse, and I'm so excited for it. You have no idea. Joe Abercrombie has like become one of my new favorite authors, and I really want to read more books by him, and these are actually standalones, so I could have read The Heroes without reading Best Served Cold first, but I kind of wanted to read them in publication order, which is why I waited, and I'm super excited. Also, this one's really big. I didn't expect it to be as big as it is, but it's huge. Still super excited, so I'm probably gonna get to Best Served Cold next month because, well, it was part of my poll for this month's TBR, and it looks like it's winning. At least I haven't checked the poll in a while, but last I checked, it was winning, and I'm super excited for that. And the last book that I ended up buying from Amazon, I plan on reading next year. I just won't have time to get to this series this year, but I'm really excited for it still. And that's A Shadow of What Was Lost by James Islington. I already own the second book in this series, An Echo of Things to Come, which I found on Book Outlet like a while ago, and I'm really excited for this series as well. I've heard this is a really great series to start if you like the Wheel of Time series, which is one of my favorites. So I'm super excited for it. That's all I really know about the series, but yes. By the way, this is the first book in the Lyons trilogy, and the 3rd book in this series is coming out this year, which just made me like super excited to finally start it. So yeah, I'll probably be starting this early next year, and I'm really excited about it. Next, we're gonna talk about the books that I ended up getting from the Books A Million bargain section. The first one is The Silkworm by Robert Galbraith, which is one of J.K. Rowling's pen names. I haven't read the first book in the series, The Cuckoo's Calling, but I do own The Cuckoo's Calling, and I own the 3rd book in the series, Career of Evil. So I figured since I saw it in the bargain section for only $4 that it would be a good one to pick up because I already have the other 2 books in the series, and I do plan on starting this series in October, hopefully. So I'm excited for it. We'll see how it goes. I don't know how much I'm gonna like this. It's a little bit out of my comfort zone, but it's J.K. Rowling, and she writes really good mysteries, at least she did in the Harry Potter series. So I'm excited to see how much I like some of her other works as well. And the next book I want to talk about is A Dragon's Path by Daniel Abrams. He is actually part of the author team that makes up the pen name of James S.A. Corey, who writes the Expanse series, which like, I didn't know that until recently, and I found out and I was like, I should read some of his books because he writes mostly high fantasy, which is the type of books that I read the most of. So when I saw this available in the bargain section for only like $5, I was like, you know what, let me pick it up. It's been on my TBR for a really long time. And when I found out that Daniel Abrams was one of the authors that wrote the Expanse series, it really kind of like bumped this one up on my TBR. Again, this one's another one that I'm probably not gonna get to this year, but I'll probably get to it early next year, so I'm pretty excited for it. And the last two books that I found in the bargain section at Books A Million are The Shadows of Self and Bands of Mourning by Brandon Sanderson. These are the second and third books in Mistborn Era 2. I love the Mistborn trilogy, and I picked up An Alloy of Law like right after I finished the Mistborn trilogy. Back then it was only available in hardcover, so I ended up buying the hardcover of it, which is not my favorite, but I was just so excited for the series that I decided to buy it. And then like, I think I DNF'd The Alloy of Law because it just wasn't what I was expecting, but I plan on picking up this series again after I finish like the first 3 novels in the Stormlight Archives. So when I saw both of these available in the bargain section again for only $5, I was just like, you know what? It is definitely worth it. So I decided to pick it up. I think if I hadn't already had the hardcover of An Alloy of Law, I might have passed these and just gotten the mass market paperbacks of them, which is what I usually get for high fantasy. But since I already had the hardcover for the first one, I decided to just get the hardcover for the other two since it was really cheap. And I'm excited to get to the series. I've heard this one is really good. Like, I've heard really, really good things about the 6th one. So you have to read the 6th one, the 6th Mistborn book, basically. So I have to read the 4th and the 5th book first before I can get to this one, obviously. So I'm excited for this, and I'm definitely gonna get to these next year as well. And the last book that I ended up picking from Books A Million is Child of a Mad God by R.A. Salvator. R.A. Salvator is an author that I really want to try, and I haven't read any of his books. This is the first book in a trilogy. I think the 3rd book in the trilogy is coming out either later this year or early next year. So that's why I decided to pick up this series. One, I'm excited to see his writing, and I'm excited to see more of his books. I did kind of a boo-boo with this one though, because when my book outlet order came this morning, the sky was in it. Yeah, I ended up picking up 2 different types. So this one I got from Books A Million, this one I got from Book Outlet. I hadn't realized they were the same book. I don't know. I got a lot of books from Book Outlet, okay? So I kind of forgot what I had ordered. I just needed another book from Books A Million to make the $25 so I can get $5 off. So this is kind of a free book anyway, but at the same time, like, I could have picked a different book, but there wasn't that many books in the bargain section that were high fantasy, which is really what I was trying to get. So there's that also. I am excited for the series. I don't know which one of these I'm gonna keep yet. I will unhaul one of them eventually, but I don't know which one yet. It depends on how much I like it, I think. I think I'm gonna wait to read it and then decide if I want to get the series in mass market paperback or in hardcover. Probably end up keeping the mass market paperback. Let's just be real. Takes up less space on my shelves, but you never know. Maybe I'll end up loving this series and really want to read the 3rd one right away, and that one will only be available in hardcover when it comes out. So yeah, that might happen too. Anyways, I will be getting to this series also next year, hopefully. We'll see. And now we're gonna move on to my book outlet order. It's a ton of books, guys. Like, it's so much, it's not even funny. But I'm super excited for a lot of these. So the book that I'm probably the most excited for is The Shattered Sea by Joe Abercrombie. You guys know, every time I see a Joe Abercrombie book on Book Outlet, I'm just like, I need this book right now. Even though I'm probably not gonna read this book till next year, like, I want to have it in my hands just so that I know I have something good coming, you know what I mean? So yeah, I'm super excited about this. This is not related at all to The First Law World, which is the books that I've read by Joe Abercrombie, but it's a different world and I'd like to see more of his writing. So I'm excited to see what this is about because I really don't know, but I've heard a lot of great things about it, mostly from people who don't read a lot of high fantasy. That actually makes me more excited for it than from people who do read a lot of high fantasy. So we'll see. I'm excited for this though. The next thing that I decided to pick up is Ruin of Kings by Jenn Lyons. Lyons? One of them. Anyways, I've seen this book kind of everywhere. I haven't really heard a whole lot about it, but I've been really interested in it. And when I saw it on Book Outlet, I was just like, you know what? It's really cheap and I want to try it. So I decided to pick it up. Hopefully it ends up being really good. I really hope it ends up being really good. I don't know though. Like, there's a lot of great like quotes on it from like really popular authors on the back. I have a feeling it could be really good, but at the same time with books like these, they could go the other way. That being said, even if I read a 3-star high fantasy book, I enjoy it more than a lot of other books that I end up picking up. So that's why I decided to pick this one up, and hopefully I'll end up liking it. The next book that I decided to pick up was The Woman's War by Jenna. This one is being touted as kind of like a feminine high fantasy, which I'm excited for. I'm a little hesitant about just because sometimes these can go a little overboard in my opinion, but I'm excited for it. I want to see how it is because a lot of high fantasy is very masculine, but this one is called The Woman's War. So it's gonna be very different, and I'm excited for that, and hopefully I'll end up really, really loving it also. The next book that I decided to pick up is The Scar by Marina and Sergey Dyachenko. Earlier this year, I read Vita Nostra by the same authors. One of my subscribers mentioned that this book, The Scar, is also really good. Actually, I think he has a YouTube channel. I'll link that down below if I can find it. The moment I saw it on Book Outlet, I was just like, oh my gosh, I have to have this book right away. I'm definitely really excited for it. I don't know when I'm gonna read it. The writing from Vita Nostra was just so beautiful and so well done that I'm super excited to read more by this author duo, so I'm definitely excited to get to The Scar eventually. The next book that I decided to pick up is Tigana by Guy Gavriel Kay. I've been meaning to try books by Guy Gavriel Kay for a while now, and I just haven't gotten around to it, and I've always heard that Tigana was one of his best books, so this is where I really wanted to start with his books. So I decided to pick it up because it was available on Book Outlet, of course, and I've been meaning to read this book for a while, so I'm definitely really, really excited for this one. I really don't know anything about it other than it has beautiful writing, and it's kind of like historical fantasy, which I also really love, so I can't wait to get to this one. The next book that I decided to pick up is Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell by Suzanne Clark. This is kind of like a classic fantasy that I've been meaning to pick up for a really long time. I've heard really great things about it. I don't actually know what this is about, but since it's kind of, it falls on a lot of classics lists, it makes me want to pick it up, especially since it's also fantasy. It's just the type of book that I would typically read, so I'm excited for it. We'll see how it goes. I'm probably not going to get to it this year because it's huge, and I only have like 3 months left for classics, but you never know, I might get to it. I'm really excited for it though. The next book that I decided to pick up is The Books of Earthsea, the complete illustrated edition by Ursula Le Guin. I have been meaning to read this series forever, like forever. When I saw this edition available on Book Outlet, it's $19, so it's expensive, but at the same time, it's much less expensive than buying each individual book. I decided to pick it up. I actually already own A Wizard of Earthsea, but not the illustrated edition, and wow, this is really heavy. And I'm really excited for this one. This is a series that I definitely plan on reading next year, so I can't wait to get to it, and I really, really love this edition. Really love it. It has a little ribbon bookmark. It's some beautiful illustrations inside. I am a little disappointed that most of the illustrations are in black and white, but overall, I'm definitely really excited for this, and it is just a gorgeous book and super heavy. Oh my. There are 6 books in one in this book, so I think 6 books for $20 any day. Less than $20, $19. I think the original price for this was $60 or something like that, which is also not bad for 6 books, but definitely really excited for this one as well. The next book that I decided to pick up is City in the Middle of the Night by Charlie Jane Anders. I'm participating in the Tome Infinity and Beyond Readathon, and this is my team's book for the readathon, so I decided to pick it up because it was available on Book Outlet, and I couldn't find the audiobook of it anywhere, so I would have ended up reading the ebook, which I was not excited for. So I was pretty excited that I found it on Book Outlet, and I'm pretty excited for this book also because it's about a tidally locked planet, which I've always wanted to read a book which takes place on a tidally locked planet, so I'm definitely excited for this one. And I will be reading this one really soon, next week probably. I'll probably be starting this one over the course of the next couple of days, so yeah. The next book I decided to pick up is Two Like Lightning by Ada Palmer. So this is a sci-fi book that's set in another time period, I believe. Yes, it's set in the 25th century, and I've heard really great things about this one. There's another booktuber that talked about this one. If I can find that video, I'll link it down below also. But she convinced me that I wanted to read this book basically. I didn't have it at my library, so it's on my my Goodreads TBR, and I've been looking for it. So when I saw it on Book Outlet, I was just like, it's time. And because the Tome Infinity and Beyond Readathon is coming up next week, or actually I think it already started. Oops. Anyways, it's a sci-fi readathon, so even though this is not going to be one of the challenges necessarily, I could still read it during the readathon because it's sci-fi and I'm excited for it. Like, this is one of the sci-fi books that I'm like the most excited for. So hopefully I can get to this over the course of the next couple of weeks also. The next book I decided to pick up is The 7.5 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle by Stuart Turton. I actually read this book earlier this year. I have a list of books that if I ever see it on Book Outlet, it automatically goes into my cart because I know I want to reread these books, and this is one of those. I read this like, I think in February, maybe January of this year, because it was just like super hyped last year. It is such a good book, like so good. There's a mystery going on in this one. The main character is waking up in different people's bodies at different times during the day, and you have to like piece together all of the different mystery elements, and so good and very interesting concept. I love the concept of this book, and I will be rereading this one at some point soon, so I don't know when, but it was a book that I just wanted to have as part of my collection, and I'm super excited to have it. The next book that I decided to pick up is Illuminae by Amie Kaufman and J. Kristoff. This is another book that I plan to read for the Tome Infinity and Beyond readathon. I've picked up the audiobook of it a couple of times, but never really got to the audiobook because the whole point of this book is like the multimedia aspect of it, which I really wanted to do as a physical book. I've borrowed the ebook a couple of times, but I generally like, if there are other books that I want to read more than the ebooks that I currently have, I generally just skip over the ebooks and read the physical books that I have. So that's why I decided to pick up the physical book for this one. Hopefully I'll end up really liking it and I can move on to the other books in the series. I don't know though, because I've heard a lot of people really love it, or a lot of people really hate it. I feel like this is a really polarizing book overall, but I'm excited for it. We'll see how it goes. I've always wanted to read this type of format. The Themis Files is the other one that I've had my eye on by Sylvain Neuval. I don't know how to pronounce his name. And I feel like because that's an adult series and this is a YA series, if I read that series, I'll never come back and try this one, so that's why I want to try this one first. The next book I decided to pick up is Empress of a Thousand Skies by Rhoda Belza. I think that's how you pronounce her name. I don't know anything about this book, but I've seen this cover a lot and I really love this cover. It's beautiful. And it was only $1. That's why I ended up picking this book up. Also, like, it's a sci-fi book. Over the course of the next couple of weeks or so, if I just need another physical book that I just want to pick up, I can definitely just pick up this one. Like I said, I don't know anything about this book, so if you know something about this book, let me know down in the comments because I would love to hear from you guys. The next book I decided to pick up is The Coldest Girl in Cold Town by Holly Black. I recently did an auto by authors list. Holly Black is one of the authors on that list, so that's why you're seeing like a lot of the authors from that list on this book haul, because just like every time I see one of their books on Book Outlet, I want it. This one has been on my list for a really long time. I've been getting the audiobook on hold and then having to return it a few times at my library. I decided to just pick up the physical book because I just haven't gotten around to reading the audiobook, and I know I will eventually get around to reading the physical book. I'm pretty excited about this one. I just love how like dark some of Holly Black's books get. She's one of the few YA authors I feel like that goes to like the dark places in her books, and that just, it makes me really happy whenever I read them, which is like a weird thing to say, but I absolutely love it and I want to read more from her. The next two books that I ended up picking up are also from some of my auto-buy authors, and that's Homefront and True Colors by Kristen Hanna. She's one of those authors that this year I just fell in love with her writing, and I absolutely want to read like every single one of her books. So every time I see one of her books on Book Outlet, I just end up picking it up. Homefront is one that I've had my eye on for a while because my library does have the audiobook for it. True Colors, I actually don't know anything about, so we'll see how this goes. But yeah, I will definitely be getting to these at some point, and I'm really excited too. And the last book that I ended up picking up is The Power of Habit by Charles Duhigg. I read this book last year. I think it was the last book that I ended up reading last year, and I loved it. Like, I loved it so much. I didn't expect to love it as much as I ended up loving it because I thought it was going to be a self-help book, which it is a self-help book, sort of, but it comes from this very scientific perspective that just made the nerd in me like super happy about it. I definitely want to reread this book. This is one of those books that I feel like you could read like once a year and not get bored of it. And it's another one of those books that, again, on that list of books that I want to have for my collection. So whenever I see it on sale, I'm just like, I have to have it like right now. So yeah, I'm definitely glad to have this one. I'm a little sad because it came ripped. Definitely happy that I got this book as well. So those are all the books that I got in the month of September. If you've read any of these books, let me know down in the comments because I would love to discuss it with you guys. I post videos frequently on this channel, so consider subscribing. If you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up to support my channel. All social media links are in the description down below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.